Today, we're going to take a look at how you can do dynamic routing in SvelteKit. This allows you to create blogs and have individual post page all dynamically using SvelteKit. Hello YouTube. My name is Braden Gerard, and today I'm going to show you how to build a blog with SvelteKit. This tutorial will really be to show how you can use dynamic routing in SvelteKit so that we can have URLs that you would typically see in a blog type website that would be like /blog/ whatever the slug of the blog post would be. So we're going to create that today in SvelteKit so that you can see how it's currently being done in the pre-release version of SvelteKit. Now this might change, but it's good to start learning how this is being handled and what we might be able to expect in SvelteKit when it is actually released. So let's jump into the code and take a look. Okay, so I'm just going to scaffold a new SvelteKit project. So I'm going to make a directory. We'll just call it Svelte project. And then I'm going to change directory into that Svelte project directory. And I'm going to do an npm init svelte at next. It's going to ask me if I want to use TypeScript. I'm going to say no, CSS, yes, there we go. Now I can just do an npm run dev -- open. Npm install first. And then we can do an npm run dev. I'm just going to do npm run dev for now. Okay, localhost 3000, perfect. Okay, so now let's open up that project. So if I open up my Svelte project, it's right here, okay. And I have a fresh project here. Okay, I can open up the browser. We can go to localhost 3000, and you can see that I have the default SvelteKit Hello World project. So what I'm going to show you in this video is how to create dynamic routes. Now these need to be used for URLs that you might have on a blog where you have multiple posts, but you want to use the same template. So we're going to go into our source and go to routes. And in our routes, we have our default route, which is the index. We're going to make a new folder, and we're going to call it blog. Okay, and inside that blog folder we'll make an index.svelte, and that will just be our default blog page that, for example, would list out all of our blog posts. So we'll say just some HTML here, h1 hello, welcome to the blog. Okay, and then we would have links to a couple posts. So let's say this will go to /blog / I don't know, we'll have a post called Hello World. Okay. Hello World post. Okay, and then we will have another link to, I don't know, we'll do one more, we'll say learning SvelteKit. Okay, and that will go to learn SvelteKit post. Okay, so we've got two links to two posts that should load up the data for those pages. So if we go to those URLs, we shouldn't have to create folders or files for those URLs. They should just pull data when we go to them. Those are dynamic routes. Now, in order to make that work, we need to be able to get this slug so that we know what data we're pulling for that page. So we want to create a template for all of these posts. So that's going to go inside of this blog folder as well. We're going to make a new file in here, and we're going to give that file the name of, sorry, let me just zoom this out a bit because it's getting hard to see here. We're going to give that file the name of slug, okay, in square brackets, .svelte, /.svelte, okay, and then this will be our template for all of our posts. Okay, so let's just say we want to put, I don't know, for now we'll just say that we want to put the slug as the title for the page just because we don't have any data right now to put into our blog post. So we'll just say h1, and inside of there we want to put our slug. Okay, and I'll show you how we're going to get this slug from the URL here. So I'll save both the index and our slug.svelte. I'm actually going to comment this out for a second just because it's not going to run with this since we haven't initialized slug yet. And if I save that and we go over here, I should now be able to go to /blog, and it says hello, welcome to the blog, and it has these two posts. Okay, and you'll notice if I go to these pages, the pages now exist. Okay, but we're not actually getting this slug. The page just exists. So if we want to get this slug so that we actually know what content to put on the page, we need to do that in this slug.svelte file, the template for this page. So to do that, we will create a script, and this script is going to have the context of module, okay? Because we need to load this ahead of time before the page gets visited. And inside of that module script, we're going to export an async function, and that function is going to be called load. So for any of you who are familiar with Sapper, it was preload before. Now it's load in SvelteKit, and it's going to take one parameter, which is the context. Okay, and that context is what is going to get us our slug. So we will create that function. Inside that function, we're going to say let slug equal, and then context dot page dot params. So that context object has a page object inside of it with parameters object inside of it, and inside of that parameters object we have the slug. Okay, and then on the next line we can say return, and then we have to return, so this is new, you have to return a props object, and inside of that props object you have to return whatever you want to give back to your page. So in this case we're just going to return the slug. But you could also return any other data here that you might want to load ahead of time for the page. So if you're going to pull from an API and you're going to pull data down, this is where you would pull it down, and then you would return it inside of here, inside of your props object. So you could return slug, you could return your post as well if you had your post data in here. So let's say, for the sake of this video, I'm not going to pull from an API, but let's just say we had something called a post object, and that post object had a title, and then now obviously this would be dynamic information, so it wouldn't be the same for all the pages, but just for the sake of this video I'll show you how you can also return extra data. Okay. And then you could also return that post in the props object. Okay, so now you've returned this in the context module inside of your load function, but now you need to actually get it in the page. So this page will have these props coming to it, just as if we had specified them on the component. So you can now go into a regular script here, and you can say export let, and then the names of the items inside of your props object. So export let slug and export let post, just like as if you were trying to get, just as if you were setting up this as a component to receive props. Okay, and now we will have access to both slug and post inside of this page. So inside of the page, we can now uncomment this and have an H1 that says slug. Okay, and if we want to show some example content, we could say, now obviously this content is going to be the same for both of our posts, but if this were a live app and we pulled that data from an API based on the slug, this content would change, right, based on that slug. So we'll say post.title, and we'll say post.content. And that's all there is to it. So if we save this and we go back over here, we should see, hold on, I made a mistake here, it looks like slug failed to init component. Slug.svelte. That looks good to me. Let's just restart this for a second. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Looks like something crashed on my dev server, but if we go to our blog, we can see we now have our blog page, and if I click on the Hello World post, it goes to this dynamic route, and it loads that Hello World slug and the content that we have at the coming in. And same as if I were to go to my Learn SvelteKit post, we get that slug in our page. and we get the hello and hello block host. Now obviously this would change based on the content you pull down from your API using the slug. So that's all there is to it to do dynamic routing in SvelteKit. It was a little tricky to figure out, and this could change, okay? So none of this is set in stone. Obviously this framework's not even released yet, but this is how it's currently set up. So let me know in the comments if you like the way it's set up and what you think about it, and if you want me to do any other videos related to this.
Thanks for sticking with me for another one of my SvelteKit tutorial videos. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more Svelte and SvelteKit, make sure you subscribe to the channel because I'm going to be releasing tons of tutorial videos in the future. Also, if you really like this specific video, give it a thumbs up so that YouTube knows that it should show it to other people who are looking for something like this. Thanks, have a great day.